You are looking at Darling Harbour, and this is my last day after 4 months of being down under, and I thought I would spend my last day here at the Darling Harbour in Sydney and bring you along and give you a quick tour of one of the popular venues in Sydney for shopping and hotels and other tourist attractions like the aquarium, etc. So it's a beautiful day here in Sydney, last day of a 4-month trip, and I'm going to spend it here in Darling Harbour. This is the main walkway as you're going into Darling Harbour, and you can see it's lined with flags in anticipation of Easter coming up this weekend. And I'll give you a view of the map here of Darling Harbour. So you have Darling Harbour, and then you have what's called Cahill Bay. So there's quite a few things to do here. IMAX and the Chinese Garden, National Maritime Museum. Then here you have some of Australia's finest, and they are collecting money for Anzac Day, right?
Yeah,
donations for Anzac Day, which is the Australian, New Zealand, Anzac Army Corps, I believe, is what that stands for. Anzac. So it's a day. It's the equivalent of the American Memorial Day, and they celebrate it. It'll be coming up here soon. It's a joint holiday between New Zealand and Australia. And as I come in here, you can see there is a large ship that's moored right at the harbor here. Alright, after several hours of working at the Starbucks, I found my way back out to Darling Harbour, and I'm just over by the Marina here at Darling Harbour. So it is a nice place to come and hang out and grab a bite to eat and listen to some music or watch the street performers. And right now I am going to find my way over to an area that's called Circular Quay, and I'm going to go visit Circular Quay on my way to doing a tour of the Opera House here in Sydney. It's a beautiful day. Today's April 16th, the day before I venture back across the Great Pacific to San Francisco, another fantastic city. And I'm dreading the 14 and a half hour flight that'll take me over to California, my home. So I'm going to continue on here in this area of Darling Harbour and see if there's anything else worth sharing with you as I walk along. Here's a beautiful fountain that you can see. It looks like it has some stork sculptures right there. There's quite a few restaurants. See a lot of these plants right here, the bird of paradise. I have that in my home in California, and I can't quite get it to bloom. And I guess it needs just the perfect conditions to be able to get it to bloom. As I'm leaving the Darling Harbour area, I came up an escalator to look at these two whales that are hanging, and I didn't notice it earlier as I walked past, but those are actual skeletons of the large whale. If I zoom in, you can actually see the skeleton underneath the, looks like plastic of some sort. Isn't that something? You never know what you're going to see on TomDownUnder.com, do you? I'm getting close to Circular Quay and the Opera House, and I'm passing through an area that's called the Rocks. And the Rocks is a area in Sydney where there's a really good nightlife and a lot of restaurants and different bars and shops. So I'm not going to actually walk through the Rocks. This is a park that is right on the border of the Rocks area. The Rocks abuts up to Circular Quay, which is the area that I'm approaching right now. And you can see the harbor off in the distance. Maybe I actually am in the Rocks because I see the flags all through here. But nonetheless, if I come up here and give you a nice shot, there's the beautiful Opera House here. And it is a really beautiful day. Beautiful blue sky. So there is the world famous Opera House. And I'm going to see if I can't find my way over there to do a tour. And as I pan out, I'll come over this way and show you the bridge, the harbor bridge. I think I can give you a shot. There's the harbor bridge right there.
Thank you very much.
There's a street performer I came across, and actually really good. Kind of sounds like Bob Dylan a little bit.
Long we may roam, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. A charm from the sky seems to have oversaid, would say to the world, his
If anyone's been wondering what souvenir I was going to get to bring home and remind me of my trip down under, you're looking at it. I think it's called a Didgeridoo or something like that. So these are some other street performers here at Circular Quay, and you can see there are a couple Aboriginals playing a couple of instruments there. This guy right here looks like something else, doesn't he? Be an interesting Halloween costume.
Good day, folks. If you like the music you hear,
here's another shot of Circular Quay here, and this is where you're going to pick up all the various ferries to go to the different beaches and ports around Sydney. Yesterday I took a ferry over to Manly Beach. Beautiful day here. I've been here the better part of a week, and this is probably one of the nicer afternoons that I've had the ability to enjoy during my visit here in Sydney. But I'm not worried because I am pretty confident that this will not be my last visit to this wonderful city. Be a nice shot here of a ferry pulling out, another one just boarding. No shortage of didgeridoo street performers here in Sydney. You can see this one is letting a gentleman come up and take his picture with him. And then just over here you can buy yourself a boomerang if you want. Alright, you're looking at yet another street performer here at Circular Quay. And if somebody out there would help me out and enlighten me, how do these guys do this? You know, I've seen these street performers all around the world now, and they sit there as if they're sitting on a chair, maintaining that pose. And maybe they've got a, you know, if I had to guess, he's got a real strong rod going up his leg or something, and he's sitting on a rod in his pants, as I would guess. So you can see he's not too happy with me sharing his secret. But that's probably how he does that. He's probably got a rod going up his right leg. Would be my guess, because I don't see him move that right leg. So that would be my guess. Found my way over to the Cahill Walk, and this is an area known as the Opera Quay. And I'm still trying to get my mind around the pronunciation of that word, key, because they spell it Q-U-A-Y, and I would think that it would be Quay. That's how we would pronounce it, but they pronounce it Quay. So I am here in Opera Quay on my way to the Opera House. Just a little further up on Opera Quay, I thought I'd stop and share this final view with you. And in doing so, just do a slow pan across the water here and show you the bridge. So there's the famous Harbor Bridge, and if I continue along, we'll come across the world famous Opera House. So I'm gonna wrap up this portion of the video, and doing so, show you the Opera House, and I'm gonna do a video all in and by itself of the visit to the Opera House that I'm gonna do here in just a few minutes. This is another area that's real vibrant with nightlife, as one would expect. In the evening, there is restaurants and bars all along the Opera Quay as well. A lot of people here today. I see a lot of people up on the steps. The last time I was here, there's just a fraction of that many people. Maybe it's the nice blue sky that bringing people out for the afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, you never know what you'll see on TomDownUnder.com. I found my way over to the Opera House, and the large crowd that I was just commenting about, they're here because the royal couple is coming. Kate and I think it's William and their baby. They're arriving in Australia today, and I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get a shot of them or not, but how often you get to see the royal couple. So I'll hang out here for the better part of 10 or 15 minutes and see if it's something that I can share with you. I did see the Queen Mum once when I was in London, so it would only be right that I could see the Prince and Princess. Alright, so here comes the motorcade for the royal couple. You see a lot of police cars accompanying it, and you're going to hear a buzz, I'm sure, here in just a moment. There's some helicopters up overhead. I don't know if you got that or not, but there's the royal couple arriving here at the Opera House. I was able to catch a glimpse of them in the car. Okay, so the royal couple went right up that way, and I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to get a shot of them or not. There's some speculation that they're going to be going up those steps, and maybe I'll be able to catch a glimpse. I heard somebody say that the princess is in yellow, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get a glimpse of them going up the stairs there. Quite an entourage. But I don't see the, maybe that's her there. There she is. There you go. The prince and princess. All right. So I did get a glimpse of them, albeit a rear shot.